Hi everyone, so here we are once again. It's half term and here's another little video for you just with regard to extract 3. So let's just have a little look at what exactly is on extract 3. So regional economic integration in the global economy, and basically we have 2 paragraphs here outlining some of the little bit of the history of the European Union, some of the benefits of being a member of the European Union, and then we have a whole table here which shows the progress towards European integration. In our previous videos we have considered questions 1A, 1B and 1C. So that means that in extract 3 we are now looking for either a 2A question, which will be worth 4 marks in the exam, and possibly an analysed question which will be worth 6 marks. So in this video I'd like to just present to you a few possible questions for 4 marks, and then probably the one question, I think the only question, you can really be asked for 6 marks. So once again, what do we need to do in order to see what the likely questions are on this paper? So again, we need to read the extract, and now we need to map it against the specification. You remember we got the specification from the OCR website. Here it is here. And the previous 2 extracts, extract 1 and extract 2, tended to focus on this section, the macroeconomic performance section. Extract 3, I think we're either looking at trade and integration section, or possibly there might be something on this section here, the economics of globalization. So those are the 2 areas we need to be looking at. And obviously for potential questions we need to be looking on the right hand side. Candidates should be able to. Okay, so let's now have a look for a 4 mark question. Remember, that's either an explain, a describe or a distinguish between type question. So here we have one here, distinguish between absolute and comparative advantage. I think that's pretty unlikely really, given the content of extract 3. Scrolling further on, explain how exchange rates are determined. Now that was asked on last year's paper, which was much more focused on exchange rates, so again that was pretty unlikely. Explain purchasing power parity, again not something I would anticipate being asked given the content of this year's pre-release. Which leaves us and leads us to this one here, explain the stages of economic integration. Now, given that the extract is all about the European Union, given that the table goes through various processes through which an economy must go in order to achieve single market, etc., I think that is probably a very likely potential question for 4 marks. But let's just have a look in the other section and see if there's anything in there that we could possibly be asked. So here we are now in the economics of globalization. Let's see what we've got for explain. Explain the factors promoting globalization. Now I think there's a possibility that that might be asked given what comes in extract 4, extract 3 really being a lead into it. So that is a potential question, and the answer to that actually is set out very clearly in the A2 OCR textbook. If you simply go to the index, look for globalization, and I think the 3rd subheading is factors promoting globalization, and it talks about things like the removal of barriers to trade such as tariffs and quotas. That of course is included in extract 3. It talks about globalization because of significant technology improvements with the internet and so on, making business a much more global affair, and you no longer have to be located next to your supply chain, etc. It talks about the free movement of people, it talks about the free movement of capital, all of which ties in nicely to an explanation of single markets, free trade, that type of thing. Any others? Here we can see explain the rules of, and here we've got one for the WTO. Now, the World Trade Organization is mentioned in paragraph 1 of extract 3. But that question was asked, I think it was asked last year actually, the role of the World Trade Organization. So that is fairly unlikely to appear on the exam. So I think the 3 potential 4-mark questions will be as follows. Explain the role of the WTO. Might as well learn it. It's pretty unlikely to come up, I think. Explain the factors promoting globalization for 4 marks. Explain the stages of economic integration for 4 marks. And I think the last 2 of those 3 are the most likely questions to appear. Okay, so it's quite a short extract. Let's just bring that up again. Quite a short extract. Only 2 paragraphs. EU intra-regional trade accounting for 71% of exports of EU member states in 2011. So that just shows you intra, so it's within the European Union. 3/4 almost of trade takes place with the member states of the European Union, of which there are of course 28, and Croatia is the most recent country to join in 2013. In the next paragraph we're then taken through a little bit of the history, but there's a couple of terms which they really stand out, and probably if you're going to get excuse me, if you're going to get an analysis question, trade creation and trade diversion would certainly have to be a part of any answer which you would give to that analysis question. On that basis, if we just go to your specification again, if we go back to the previous section on trade and integration, and let's just see what we have by way of analysis. So we've got analyse the effects of international trade. Potentially, I suppose that they could word the question like that. Analyse the causes of imbalances and the balance of payments. Pretty unlikely in this instance. Evaluate the consequences of economic integration. And if we scroll to the other section, again there's nothing really there that jumps out at you with regard to an analyse question for this one. I think it's going to be something to do with this section here, the consequences of economic integration. Given what we were given in the table, and given what it says in the paragraph above the table, particularly with regard to trade creation and trade diversion here. So I think a potential 6-mark question would be analyse the effects of increased regional economic integration for 6 marks. Okay, so that's my thoughts on extract 3, and I'll be back again next week with extract 4. Hope the revision is going well during this half-term holiday.